Captain Kim's hands shook as he read the mission report. The small ship Prometheus had been gone for 127 days. No contact, no signal, just empty space where Earth's first exploratory team should have been. "Sir, the rescue team is back," Lieutenant Lee said. Her voice was strange, quiet. Kim looked up. In the doorway stood 5 soldiers from the rescue mission. Their faces were empty. Behind them, 3 more men limped in. Their clothes were torn. Strange marks covered their skin. "Where are the others?" Kim asked. "Gone, sir," one of the rescue soldiers said. "We found them in cells." The word hung in the air like smoke. Ensign Park, one of the survivors, sat down heavily. His left arm was missing below the elbow. The skin where it ended was too smooth, too perfect. "They took us 3 months ago," Park said. His voice was like sand. "Big ships. We never saw them coming." "Who?" Kim leaned forward. "The Council," Park said. "The Galactic Council." Lieutenant Lee's face went pale. Everyone in the room knew about the Council. 12 alien species that ruled the galaxy. The ones who had sent the welcome message when Earth first developed faster-than-light travel. The ones who promised friendship. "They put us in glass boxes," Park continued. "Like animals at a zoo. But worse." Medical Officer Choi moved to help. Another survivor sit down. The woman's eyes were unfocused. She kept rubbing her wrists where deep red marks showed. "They wanted to study us," Choi said, reading from his medical pad. "Pain thresholds. How long humans can survive without sleep. How we react to different toxins. They called it science," Park spat. "Said we were primitive specimens. Said they were learning about our biological limitations." Kim felt something cold settle in his stomach. "How many species were involved?" 12, Choi answered. "All of them." The council members took turns. Different techniques. The tall ones with 6 arms liked electricity. The blue ones preferred psychological torture. "How many humans are still out there?" Park looked at Kim with eyes that had seen too much. "They have facilities on 17 different worlds. They said they've been collecting humans from our outer colonies for years. Hundreds of us." They laughed. The woman suddenly spoke. Her voice was cracked. "When we screamed, they laughed. Said we were the best subjects they'd found. Said we break in interesting ways." The room fell silent. Kim could hear the hum of the ship's engines. Normal sounds. Safe sounds. But they felt wrong now. Admiral Yang entered the room. He was old enough to have seen Earth's first wars. His face was hard like stone. He listened as Park repeated everything. His hands slowly formed fists. "Did they know you escaped?" Yang asked. "No, sir." Park shook his head. "The guards were changing shifts. Their security is arrogant. They don't think we're smart enough to escape." Yang nodded slowly. He looked at each survivor, at the missing limbs, the scars, the empty eyes. "Get me Ambassador Nam," he said to Lieutenant Lee. "Tell him to prepare his dress uniform. We're going to the council." "Sir?" Kim asked. "What are our orders?" Yang was already walking to the door. He turned back. "We're going to give them one chance to make this right. One chance to return our people." "And if they refuse?" The old admiral's smile was something no human had ever seen before. "Then we show them why humans are the species that crawled out of caves and reached the stars. Why we survived every catastrophe our planet threw at us. Why we built weapons before we built peace." He paused at the door. "Get our people ready, Captain. All of them. This is not a diplomacy mission anymore." After Yang left, the room stayed quiet. Park looked at Kim. "Sir, there's something else," Park said quietly. "They showed us videos of what they've done to other species. Hundreds of species. They've been doing this for thousands of years." "What happened to those species?" Kim asked, though he already knew. "They're gone, sir. The council keeps records. Like a collection, we saw the files. Earth is just the newest exhibit." Kim looked around the room. At the survivors. At the medical reports. at the empty chairs where the dead should have been, sitting. "Not anymore," he said. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we start preparing." As the survivors left, Kim sat alone. He opened his communication console and began typing. The message was simple. To all Earth colonies and military installations. Priority Alpha. Report all unusual ship sightings. Report all missing personnel. Prepare for emergency defensive protocols. He sent the message and leaned back. Tomorrow, Ambassador Nam would give the Council their warning. Tonight, Kim had to prepare for war. Outside the window, Earth turned slowly. Blue and green and beautiful. Home to 8 billion humans who were about to learn they weren't just explorers anymore. They were prey. But the Council had made one mistake. Ambassador Nam stood at the edge of the Great Hall. The Galactic Council chambers were huge, so big that Earth's tallest building would fit inside with room to spare. 12 species sat in the circle of power. They looked down at Nam like he was an insect. His uniform was perfect. His shoes were polished, but his hands were shaking, not from fear, from anger. "Human delegate," the voice came from everywhere at once. The translator made it sound like 1,000 whispers. "You have interrupted our session. Explain." Nam walked to the center. Each step echoed like thunder. The Council had built these chambers to make visitors feel small. It worked on most species. Today it failed. "Honored Council," Nam began. His voice was steady now. "I bring a message from Earth." The tall creatures with 6 arms shifted in their seats. The blue ones with no faces turned toward him. The small, round ones chittered among themselves. "Speak quickly," said the creature that the translator called Vextar. It looked like a mountain of silver flesh. "Your kind speaks when we permit it. Nothing more." Nam reached into his pocket. He pulled out a data chip. "You have been taking our people, torturing them, experimenting on them." The hall erupted in sounds. Some laughed. Others made noises that sounded like grinding metal. The Zorthak with their sharp teeth actually smiled. "Accusations?" Vextar rumbled. "The primitive learns to speak words of war?" "I am not here to accuse," Nam said. He raised his voice. "I am here to warn." The noise stopped. 12 species suddenly focused on one human. "You have 72 standard hours to release all human prisoners," Nam continued. "All of them. From every facility, every secret lab, every research station." The laughter started again, but this time it was different, meaner. "Or what?" This came from a Krexnox. They looked like wolves made of crystal. "Your wooden ships will fire their primitive missiles? Your warriors will wave their basic weapons?" Nam pulled out another device, a small recorder. "Or you will face the consequences of underestimating humanity." He pressed play. The screams filled the chamber, human screams, followed by the sounds of machines, cutting, burning, breaking. "Evidence of your crimes," Nam said over the sounds. "Delivered to every news network in the galaxy. Every species will know what the Council really does." "Impossible," said Vextar. "You have no access to—" "We have everything," Nam interrupted. "Every file, every recording, every sick experiment you've documented." The mood in the chamber changed. The laughter stopped completely. Some Council members whispered among themselves, "You dare threaten us?" The Zorthak representative stood. It was 3 meters tall, its claws extended. "Your entire species couldn't test us," Nam said quietly. The 2 words cut through the air like a blade. Nam turned to leave. He'd said what he came to say. "Human," Vextar called. Nam stopped. "You seem different from the specimens we have studied. Your pain tolerance was adequate. Your species shows promise as biological test subjects. But you are not warriors." Nam turned back. He looked up at the Council, at their massive forms, their advanced technology, their thousands of years of experience. "You're wrong about us," he said softly. "We didn't crawl out of caves by being weak. We didn't survive ice ages by being peaceful. We didn't reach the stars by being simple. And what makes you think your species is special?" asked another voice. One of the blue ones. We have studied dozens of violent species, conquered hundreds. Nam smiled. It was not a nice smile. Those species probably warned you too. Did you listen to them? The chamber was silent. Where are those species now? Nam asked, though he already knew. No one answered. You have 71 hours and 54 minutes, Nam said, checking his wrist device. Use them wisely. He turned to leave again. This time no one stopped him. The massive doors to the chamber began to close behind him. At the threshold, Nam paused. He looked back one final time. Oh, and council members, he called out. You might want to consider our previous military history. Check what we did to our own planet when we fought among ourselves. Check how we survived against all odds. Check why we built weapons that could destroy worlds. The doors were almost closed. Nam's voice dropped to barely a whisper, but the chamber's acoustics carried it perfectly. Run! The word echoed in the vast space long after Nam was gone. The council members looked at each other. Some shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Primitive bluster, Vextar finally declared. Continue with the session. But as the council resumed their meeting, many of them were already sending private messages to their home worlds. Some were ordering military readiness. Others were checking their intelligence reports on human military capability. Far above, Ambassador Nam's small shuttle lifted off from the neutral station. Inside, he opened a secure channel. Admiral Yang, he said quietly. The warning has been delivered. Understood, came the reply. All forces are standing by. Good luck, Ambassador. Nam looked out at the stars. Good luck to all of us. Captain Kang sat in his command chair, watching the darkness outside his ship. Silent Striker was invisible to every sensor the council had. Today, it needed to stay that way. Contact, Ensign Park whispered from his station. Target confirmed. Detention facility Delta 7. Through the view screen, Kang saw nothing, just stars. His eyes couldn't see the massive station hidden behind a fake asteroid, but the ship's computers could. Other teams check in, Lieutenant Lee reported. All 6 squadrons ready. Kang nodded. 6 secret missions happening at once, each targeting a different council prison. General O had planned this perfectly. All teams, this is Overlord. O's voice crackled in their earpieces. Operation Bright Dawn is go. Remember, our people first. Silent Striker glided forward. Its special hull absorbed all scanning beams. The council had never seen this technology before. Shields detected, Park announced. Running countermeasures. Lieutenant Huang worked at the weapons console. Shields are focused inward to keep prisoners in. They're not expecting attack from outside. Typical arrogance, Kang muttered. Deploy. The nanoswarm. Tiny robots flowed out of the ship like a silver river. Too small for council sensors to detect, they began eating through the station's outer hull. Sir, Corporal Chen reported. Reading human life signs. Sector 12, they're alive, but medical readings are bad. Kang felt his jaw clench. How bad? Multiple missing limbs, neural damage, malnutrition. They've been there a long time. The nanoswarm finished its work. A perfect hole appeared in the station side, invisible to the naked eye. Breach, Kang ordered. The assault team was already moving. Sergeant Seo led them through the opening. Their suits were black, silent, modified with council weapons they'd stolen from previous raids. Inside the station, the first guard didn't even see them coming. SEO's team moved like ghosts. They'd trained for months using stolen council security footage. First prisoner block secured, Seo whispered into his radio. Sir, you need to see this. On his screen, Kang watched Seo's helmet camera. Glass cells lined the corridor. Inside each one, a human form. Some stood, some lay still. All had wires attached to their bodies. Medical emergency, Chen announced. Multiple subjects in critical condition. Get them out, Kang ordered. Wang, what do you see on those computers? Corporal Wang was already at a council terminal. His fingers flew over the alien keyboard. Sir, this is just one facility, but look at this, logs of 17 more locations. The screen filled with data. Names, dates, experiment results. Kang felt sick. Download everything, every byte of data they have. Around them, the rescue continued. Human after human was pulled from the cells. Many couldn't walk, some didn't. Recognize the rescue team. Sir, Huang called from his station. I'm detecting massive movement on Council channels. They're mobilizing fleets. Let them, Kang replied. We're almost done here. CO's team reached the main laboratory. The scene there made even the hardened soldiers stop. Tables with restraints. Machines with too many sharp edges. Charts showing pain thresholds and breaking points. Sir, final count, Chen reported. 37. Humans recovered. All are mobile or can be transported. Good. Wang, data transfer complete? Yes, sir. But, sir, these files. They show the Council has been doing this for thousands of years. Hundreds of species. We're just the latest. Kang stood up. All teams, this is Silent Striker. Mission complete. Return to extraction points. The evacuation was smooth. Too smooth. The Council's guards were trained to keep people in, not to repel boarders. They'd never expected anyone to attack their secret facilities. Soon, all rescued humans were aboard Silent Striker. The ship turned, away from the station, ready to jump to light speed. Sir, Park said suddenly, I'm reading explosions at the other target sites. All successful extractions completed. On the main screen, 6 different star systems showed the same thing. Council facilities burning. Human ships escaping. Mission complete across all fronts. Admiral Yang wants a direct channel, Lee announced. Yang, here. The old admiral's voice filled the bridge. Status, Captain? All objectives met, sir. 37 rescued. Full data download completed. Excellent. Return to rendezvous point. The Council is scrambling their grand fleet. Time for Phase 2. The connection ended. Kang looked around at his crew. They'd just done the impossible. Rescued humans from 3 different star systems simultaneously. Sir, Wang said quietly. The data files. They show Council military bases across the galaxy. Defense systems, weapon capabilities, everything. Send them to command, Kang ordered. Let the Council bring their fleet. We have everything we need now. Silent Striker disappeared into hyperspace along with 6 other stealth ships. Behind them, fires burned in the vacuum of space. Council alarms screamed across the galaxy. The hunt was over. The war was about to begin. Admiral Park stood on the bridge of Retribution, Earth's largest warship. Around his fleet, empty space. To the Council's scanners, humanity had maybe 100 ships. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Sir, Council Grand Fleet approaching, Commander An reported. 3,000 vessels, all 12 species represented. Park looked at the tactical display. The Council fleet was massive. Dreadnoughts the size of small moons, carriers bristling with fighters, weapons that could crack planets. Sir, incoming transmission from the lead Council ship, Lieutenant Kim announced, on screen. The face of Vexitar filled the view screen. The silver mountain of flesh looked pleased. Humans, it rumbled. You have defied the Council. Return our facilities and accept your position as subjects. Those facilities held our people, Park replied calmly. You tortured them. Subjects for study. Vexitar waved a massive appendage. You exist for our science. Surrender now and we may preserve your homeworld. Park glanced at his tactical officer. Lieutenant Yu gave him a small nod. Everything was ready. Counteroffer, Park said. You have 30 seconds to surrender. The sound from the Council fleet wasn't laughter. It was something worse. 3,000 ships, 12 species, all making their versions of mockery. Primitive species, Vexitar sneered. You cannot comprehend our power. We have conquered. 29 seconds, Park interrupted. Sir, whispered Commander An. All stealth units confirm position. Attack formation ready. The Council fleet powered up their weapons. Energy readings peaked on every scanner. They prepared for slaughter. Time's up, Park said quietly. All units, weapons free. What happened next would be studied in military academies for generations. From seemingly empty space, ships appeared. Not 100, not 1,000. 3,000 human vessels materialized instantly, surrounding the Council fleet completely. "Sir, their shields," Kim began. "Quantum torpedoes armed," you reported, "targeting main reactors." The Council's shields were legendary, impenetrable energy barriers that had protected them for millennia. Human quantum weapons didn't care. They phased through shields as if they weren't there. The first Council dreadnought, Dominion of the Weak, exploded before they could react. The blast split their formation. "Fighter wings away," you commanded. Initiating swarm tactics. 10,000 small fighters launched from human carriers. They moved in patterns the Council had never seen. Coordinated by AI, they struck like a single organism. Where Council fighters moved in straight lines and predictable formations, human craft danced. "Sir, reading massive surrenders," Kim called out. "The Krexnox are breaking formation. The Zorthak are running." Park watched the tactical display. The Grand Alliance was shattering. Council ships began firing on each other as panic spread. A second wave of human ships appeared. These weren't just fighters. They were drones, thousands of unmanned vessels, controlled by Earth's finest AI. They swarmed over Council capital ships like ants. The Vextar homeworld fleet just transmitted surrender, On reported. So did the Zenlock. "Sir, their entire alliance is collapsing." On the screen, Vexitar's face showed something humans had never seen. Fear. "Impossible," it bellowed. "Your technology was primitive. Our scans showed what we wanted you to see," Park replied. "We've been preparing for this since you took our first explorer." A Council battlecruiser attempted to charge its planet-killer weapon. Lieutenant Yu's tactical team responded instantly. A precision strike destroyed the weapon before it could fire. 3 more human ships jumped directly next to it and detonated nuclear charges. "Sir, Council Command is broadcasting general retreat," Kim announced. Park called out, "All Council vessels, this is your final warning. Stand down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Any ship attempting to flee will be disabled." Most of the remaining Council ships complied immediately. A few tried to run. They didn't get far. Human ships could jump faster and farther than anything the Council had. 15 minutes after the first shot, the battle was over. 3,000 Council ships either surrendered or drifted as scrap. The human fleet remained intact. "Damage report," Park ordered. "Minimal losses, sir," reported Commander On. 37 fighters damaged, 12 destroyed, 3 ships with hull breaches. No capital losses. Park looked at the tactical display one more time. The mighty Galactic Council fleet was broken. Ships that had conquered galaxies now sat powerless. "Open a channel to the Council homeworlds." "Channel open, sir." "This is Admiral Park of Earth Defense Forces. You have 30 minutes to establish war crimes tribunals for your leadership. Any resistance will be met with full force. We have your defense codes, your supply lines, and your weaknesses." He paused, watching distant stars where Council worlds waited in fear. "You had the chance to work with us, you chose experimentation. You had the chance to surrender, you chose mockery." The bridge was silent. Even the crew stood in awe of what they'd accomplished. "Sir," Kim said quietly. "Incoming transmission from Earth. President asking for status update. Tell him the 30-minute war is over. Tell him we're bringing our people home." As human ships began collecting surrendered Council vessels, one thought echoed across the galaxy. Never underestimate the species that clawed its way to the stars. The Great Hall was different now. Where 12 species once sat above everyone else, a circle of equals had formed. Representatives from 57 species sat in identical chairs. No one was higher than anyone else. Director General Choi walked to the center. Her footsteps echoed, but the sound was softer now, less threatening. "The evidence is clear," she announced. "The former Council engaged in systematic torture of multiple species over thousands of years." In a separate section, the former Council leaders stood behind. Energy restraints. Their own technology now turned against them. Vextar, once proud, now seemed smaller. The Zorthak representatives hung their heads. Admiral Park watched from the human delegation. His dress uniform bore no decorations for the recent victory. This wasn't about gloating. It was about justice. The tribunal finds all defendants guilty. Choi continued. Sentencing will be determined by the victims themselves, not imposed by another ruling class. Ambassador Shin stepped forward with a data pad. We have drafted new principles for galactic governance, he read. First, no species shall be considered inferior or superior. Second, any organization claiming to provide security must submit to independent oversight. Third, all research on living beings requires consent and ethical review. The assembly voted. Species after species raised their appendages, tentacles, or whatever they used to show agreement. The vote was unanimous. Later, in a smaller conference room, the real work began. Admiral Yang met with military leaders from across the galaxy. Human and non-human officers sat together, planning defenses against future threats. Sir, question, if I may, said former Defense Coordinator Vexicul. The silver creature had served the Council for centuries, but now wore the blue uniform of the new Galactic Defense Authority. Speak freely, Yang replied. His crew had learned to work with former enemies. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. How did you hide your capabilities? Our best scouts watched Earth for decades. They reported primitive technology, limited weapons. We thought humans were generations behind us. Yang leaned back in his chair. Around the table, human officers exchanged glances. Some smiled slightly. You saw what you expected to see, Yang explained. We didn't hide anything, we just didn't show off. But your quantum weapons, your stealth technology, were developed in secret, finished General O. When you first contacted us, we knew we were either prey or potential partners. You chose to make us prey. So we prepared. Captain Kang, still wearing tactical gear, added, every time you captured one of our ships, you thought you were learning about us. But we built those ships to be captured. We learned about your technology while feeding you false data about ours. The torture facilities gave us intel, Park said quietly. Every human you experimented on took some information from you. Pain make us observant. Fear teaches us. Your guards talked. Your scientists boasted. Our people remembered. Vexcool processed this information. And when Ambassador Nam delivered the warning, we were already mobilized, Yang confirmed. Our stealth ships had been mapping your facilities for months. Our shipyards had been running at full capacity for years. We hoped diplomacy would work, but we prepared for war. The 30-minute war, muttered another former council officer, a Krexnox named Zervex. Your victory was so quick, so complete, we didn't understand. Good tactics, good training, and a willingness to adapt, O replied. Plus, we studied your tactics through your own military records. You fought the same way for thousands of years. We innovated. Yang stood up, walking to a holographic display showing the galaxy. The question now is, what comes next? The authority needs to be different, said Shin, who had been listening silently. No more secret prisons, no more experiments, no more assumptions about lesser species. Agreed, said Vexcool. But who leads this new authority? Humanity has proven itself the dominant military power. Yang turned back to the table. That's exactly why we shouldn't lead alone. Power corrupts. We saw what happened when the Council had too much control. Shared leadership, suggested Park. Council by consensus, not domination. The room fell quiet. It was a revolutionary idea in galactic politics. One more thing, Yang said, addressing the former Council officers directly. You asked why we didn't surrender, why we fought instead of accepting our role as subjects. The former Council representatives leaned forward, genuinely curious. Because that's not who we are, Yang said simply. We're the species that looked at an ice age and invented fire. We're the ones who saw an ocean and built boats. We're the ones who looked at the stars and refused to stay earthbound. He paused, considering his words carefully. You saw us as specimens because you had power. But power without wisdom leads to cruelty. Wisdom without strength leads to extinction. We had both because we had to. Earth taught us that the universe doesn't care about you unless you make it care. Vexcool nodded slowly. And that's why we should have run when you warned us. Yes, Yang said. That's why you should have run. As the meeting adjourned, representatives from dozens of species filed out, some to help build the new government, others to return to their worlds with news of the new order. The galaxy had changed. The age of the Council was over. The age of cooperation had begun. Outside the conference room, Earth's sun shone on a planet that had sent its children to the stars and brought them home warriors. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.